Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my review of the first episode of Season 8 of Doctor Who, entitled Deep Breath. Now this is your spoiler alert, because if you haven't seen the episode yet, there's going to be tons and tons and tons of spoilers, so be warned. Okay, it starts off with the TARDIS being stuck in a Tyrannosaurus Rex throat, and it said the Doctor was being chased by the dinosaur, and then something happened and it got stuck in its throat, and then the dinosaur came with the TARDIS to the Victorian period where the story takes place. Okay, but when could that possibly happen? The Doctor's only just regenerated, so when? I don't understand it. And then after that we have the opening credits. I'm not sure how I feel about the opening credit scenes yet. I think I need to watch it a few more times to see whether or not I'm going to like them or hate them. I don't think I'm going to hate them, but I may dislike them. It's very different, so it was kind of a shock to the system when I first saw it. But I'll come back to that at a later date. The next bit I want to talk about is the Val scene, where they start talking about Val and Clara gets all mad and stuff. I personally hate this scene. I think it's stupid, it makes no sense, and the point it gets across is again put across later on in the story, so it's entirely unnecessary, and if I was in the editing room I would have cut it. I did not like it at all. The next point I wanted to talk about was the alley scene. I like the alley scene. I like him making the point that he recognises his face, then that they're actually making a point about it, of him seeing the face before. I also heard a rumour that Russell T Davies called up Stephen Moffat after he announced that Peter Capaldi was going to be the next Doctor, and he suggested a reason why he's using the same face that he saw before. Now let's hope, because Russell T Davies is a genius, that Stephen Moffat is listening to him. But if not, then I believe at least there's a reason there's the same face. But we'll wait and see. Next, the painting scene I thought was quite funny, where she was posing and it was pretty pointless because she wasn't even painting. I thought that was amusing. Now if we move along a bit more, we get to the scene in the restaurant when Clara asks the Doctor where did he get his coat, and the Doctor then proceeds to lie. And I thought it was very cleverly done, because I thought him lying like a child would lie was very clever, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. And it's during this scene which I had an epiphany of why is it I don't like Clara. It's because she's stupid. After they have the little argument sort of thing, the Doctor realises, wait, this is a trap, and instead of stopping and looking around trying to work out why is the trap, how do we get out of this thing, she continues bitching. Is she a moron or what? Then the waiter comes along and scans them for body parts, and then they go down the little lift thing. Then she says the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's not a restaurant, is it? No shit. They could have put a clever line in it, but no. They come up with, it's not a restaurant, is it? Wow. What was Moffat thinking writing that line? It's almost like he's gone through the first draft of the script and said, oh yeah, that'll do. Which leads into my next point, the line, I've seen this before. I thought that line in itself is brilliant. That shows you that he recognises it. These are the Clockwork Men, but he doesn't remember it exactly. That shows you that an awful long time has passed since the David Tennant days, and it's been over 1,000 years if my understanding is correct. But then he says it again, and then continues with something like Clockwork Men repairing themselves with body parts. That's not a quote, I can't remember the exact quote, but still, it's something like that. It cements it, these are definitely the Clockwork Men. But then he kills it. He goes too far, and the Doctor takes out one of these fuse things and reads it, and it's the ship from the episode before's sister ship or something like that. It was too far. It was brilliant at the beginning when it was just subtle, but it's too in your face, and the Doctor still can't remember it completely. He knows something, but he's like, where have I seen this before? It's called subtlety, Moffat. Next point I want to talk about is when Clara is running away from the droids, and it flashes back to the scene in the restaurant where he says something else they're not doing: breathing. Why not just end up saying, whatever you do, don't breathe? It's the same idea as Blink with the Weeping Angels. It's the same idea as turning away with the silence. It's don't do something that is basic principle of humanity. And this one is the most stupidest one ever, because this ignores the fact that earlier on the droid killed a human for his eyes. So obviously they can see. So what, they can see their breathing and that's it? It's stupid, Moffat. It would be fixed quite simply if you take the scene where the droid kills the guy for the eyes, change the body part which he kills him for, and then just make a simple comment about how the droids can't see, like they don't have their eyes yet, or something similar like that. Then all they can do is hear the breathing. Fine, fixed. It took me 5 minutes to come up with, but it just proves that I think this is the first draft of the script that they have, and it hasn't been fixed. Next, they have the interrogation scene sort of thing with Clara and the head droid. And then it goes through a flashback, and Clara's a teacher and this kid's giving her attitude like kids do, which I will admit, smart on Moffat, these are actual the way kids act, not TV kids, at least in England anyways. But it begs the question, is she a teacher or a babysitter? Because when she was first introduced, she was a babysitter, and now all of a sudden she was a teacher. It's almost like she was a babysitter, and then Moffat said, what shall I make her do? I know what, she's gonna be a teacher! I get it, no one babysits for a long period of time and has a career as a babysitter. Maybe she's studying to be a teacher, but it wasn't explained to us thoroughly. Yes, there was the scene in the 50th, but I just saw that as a nice throwback to the classic Who, where it all began. I didn't see that as her being a teacher. But, and this leads on to the shot where Clara is explaining to the droid that he can't kill her, because if he kills her, he can't get the information he needs, which is true, I guess. But then the camera points at the droid's head, and you can actually see that the wheels turning as he's trying to think of how to get around this, and I thought that was quite a good shot. Speaking of shots I like the one where the Doctor is having a giant speech about how the droid has replaced so many bits of himself that he's not the same droid anymore. Which of course he's talking to himself then as well. And there's the shot where he holds up the tray so the droid can look at himself, but then you see the reflection of Capaldi in the back of the tray. You see, Moffat can do subtle if he really wants to. Wow. Then you get to the scene where the droid dies. Now we're supposed to assume that the Doctor killed him, but I bet that this is going to be a recurring theme. Did the Doctor kill the guy or not? Not just the droid, it's going to be other people as well. And he didn't. There's going to be a montage in the finale where he didn't kill any of these things. But it begs the question if this is true. The Doctor was trying to persuade the droid to kill himself. So if you try to persuade someone who doesn't want to kill themselves, and they kill themselves, did you kill him? That's just the question. Not to mention, he didn't give him a chance. If this was back in Russell T days, he would have said, listen, I can take you to a planet, get you the parts you need, and take you to a place you can live your life. Or I will end you. This was just, I will end you. That's not right. That's not the Doctor. Of course, this is supposed to be a darker Doctor, but that was pretty dark at the scene, like the David Tennant scene around the swimming pool in School Reunion. That was quite a dark scene. But yet it wasn't, I'm just going to kill you if you don't kill yourself. Next, we get to the Smithy cameo, which I actually liked. It was kind of quite good, and it was a way of saying he is still me. But there's one problem with this whole story arc during the whole episode. Clara knew about regeneration. She's seen all of the Doctor's faces. They could have done it more as a the Doctor's changed his personality, and is this really the guy that I want to be around still, rather than he's changed his face. I tell you what they should have done. They should have put Clara in the room while the Doctor is trying to persuade the droid to kill himself. That could have worked, and then have the call from Smithy saying, hey, he is still me, try and help him. But the Doctor's changed his face thing, nah, doesn't sit right with someone who knows regeneration. Then finally, we have the one thing I wrote in my notes. Who is Missy? My theory, because I'm just going to go into the one that I think is right, because I don't really have enough time to go through all of them, is that Missy is short for mistress, which of course is the female version of Master. I think she is a regenerated form, female regenerated form of the Master. But only time will tell. Although it sounds like I didn't like this episode, I actually did. There's just lots of little things I'm ranting at. The main big thing. The main plot was good. I'd like to point out that not a lot of what I was ranting about was Peter Capaldi himself. I think that because this was a new Doctor, Moffat was thinking more, hey, they're going to be paying so much attention to Peter Capaldi that I could get away with not putting so much effort in these little things with Clara and the droids and things like that. Which is true, because my first watch I didn't pick up on any of these things because I had to watch it twice. But overall it was a good episode. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think that Capaldi will be a good Doctor, but I'm not going to rank him until the end of the series. I hope you've enjoyed my review of this Doctor Who episode. I'm planning to do one for each, and if you want to catch them, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button. And if you disagreed with anything I've said, or want to add some things you liked or disliked, like Strax or the horse scene, pop it down in the comments, and I will be sure to get back to you. I am the Food. Thanks for listening.